So my name is Edward Keezber, and I write and perform slam poetry. I have two pieces for you guys tonight, and the first one is a very true story. Dear girl in apartment 2. Growing up, I never had neighbors. I mean, sure, there were other houses on our little private road, but we never saw their occupants. We rarely heard their squabbles or saw them laugh from window to window, home to home. I mean, living in the city is a big change for me. I see people now, that's new. I have neighbors too. Who knew this would ensue? A story about you, the girl in apartment 2. As I enter my building, the first door I see has a shiny number 2 on it. It begs the question, where's number 1? As I open the door that leads to my corridor, I've already accepted that I'll probably never know. I dip my knee, fish for my key, enter my new home with glee, but glee gets gone later that night, around 11. I wake up to the sound of a shower running. At first, admittedly, I'm a little annoyed, but then I'm overjoyed that I can take part in the ups and downs of urban life. Just when do you call the police? That's the opening line to a crappy movie I had just watched in my downtime, but the question was chillingly appropriate. When do you call? With my ear to the wall, I listened because what sounded like a shout and a fall just echoed through my thin wall. And I'm stuck asking myself, can my call change at all? Silence. Shower. The shower goes on and the pitter-patter sound grows to be familiar. Being optimistic sometimes makes me doubt what is realistic, and my perception becomes cryptic because maybe she slipped, that's all. It's just rough sex, it's not a brawl. But then I ask myself, where do I get the gall to make a judgment call on what should befall this angel? I've never seen her, but I know she's beautiful as her muffled melody rings in an optimist's ears. And this wall muffles and distorts, as though the devil and his venomous cohorts had synthesizers to export her would-be pleasures into pains and leave me with fragments of broken code. Like, was that a sob or a giggle? Is that a slam or a pan dropping? Are they talking or yelling? The shower's still running. Is she hiding or just dirty? Or worse, both? Oh, my girl in apartment 2, I once knew a girl who was just like you. And although I pray every day for her and you to be okay, I may have it all wrong today. Like, maybe he is good to you, and maybe I don't need to do what I'm getting ready to do, but there's a sliver of a chance that you need a guardian angel. But I don't think angels fly into the night sky. I think they're within us, spreading their massive wings to fill a chest cavity with a deep inhale, the type we take before we jump, before we speak, before we admit to ourselves that which we already know. So my angel in apartment 2, the decision is on you. But if I ever get a clue that my suspicion rings true, I will watch over you and call the blue. And although I've never seen your face debased or out of place, and even though you'd probably hit me with a can of mace if you heard this, my girl in apartment 2, I care about you. Thank you. I brought my notebook for my second piece because I wrote it something like 4 days ago, so give me a chance here. I've always loved and envied Icarus. A boy who was stuck on the ground got to watch his sibling fly, but never let that sound of his beaded wings and whistling wind keep him from finding sky. A story about ambition outweighing everything else. He just wanted to fly. He never sung "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," because he didn't need a lift, didn't ask for help. Instead, snuck into his father's workshop at night to build wings out of feathers and candle wax. The only blueprint was the pump of his heart aching to be flung skyward. Icarus built his own wings. Da Vinci designed flying machines. Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic. The Wright brothers built a plane, and Icarus, like all the other flyers, didn't care about gravity. But this was many years before Newton and his apple told him it was dangerous. Before cautionary tales could tell him no. Before people started stifling innovation. The problem is, I often dream of falling, not flying. I wake still tinkling from the gut-wrenching free fall over the hidden waterfalls of my mind. A handful of seconds where numbness is replaced with sensation, where every molecule and every fiber of my being tells me I am alive. Maybe Icarus knew about the sun's heat. Maybe he felt like the gods watching ants on the street. Maybe he beat his winged arms until his legs seemed obsolete. And maybe, just maybe, he too dreamed of falling. not flying. The sun melted the wax that held his wings together, higher than Mount Olympus, higher than the clouds, higher than Dionysus dropping acid. Finally, his altitude matching his ambition and attitude, there he hovered, and the clock stopped. The sun stayed put, the trees were still, no longer swaying in the wind, and in awe of his ecstasy, time itself froze. But it was so hot that even time couldn't stay frozen for long, and like a drop of water off a springtime icicle, he fell. Everything fell back into place like clockwork machinery coming back to life. The trees blew in the wind, the ants resumed their activities on the roads below, the earth kept spinning, and Icarus fell. But fell is only one letter away from feel, and he felt all right. He felt fear, love, anger, ecstasy, bliss, greed, more fear. He felt maddening stupidity paralleled with true genius as he passed through a rainbow and realized that the spectrum of colors matched his beautiful mind. So different, yet blending together perfectly. And in that moment, when he saw the shape of his father out on the beach, when he realized he was going to die, he had but one regret. He would never be able to tell them what he felt, never assure them that he didn't fear his death, never share the beauty. The gods heard this thought, and they wept. Their tears brought about torrential rains, and in the storm he was blown to the safety of the leaves of a bush. I've always envied Icarus. A boy who was stuck on the ground, who witnessed beauty so sublime that deities broke the walls of time, and their tears, well, their tears were like mine.